Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Chuck. Chuck's Off the Grid World again. I've got another project I'm starting, as if I don't have enough projects. In fact, I'll show you this project right here that I started a couple weeks ago, trying to do some painting on this RV. I'm kind of come to a standstill because of the weather conditions. It's just been too cold, but it's supposed to warm up in the next couple weeks, so I'll get back on that again. But meantime, I've got this project on this carburetor. Okay, this is a project that I haven't worked on, or not this particular one. I haven't worked on a project like in this manner for 3 generations. This is a Holley 4-barrel. I haven't worked on one for at least 3 generations, but this is a, let's see if I can get down here close and read this. I don't know, I can't read what it says. Maybe you can off the camera. Not 3 generations, 3 decades, 30 years. I haven't worked on it for 30 years. It says it's a Holley, and it says right here, Holley for Motorcraft. Okay, you can read that. Then there's a tag up here that has some numbers on it. Well, whenever you order parts, you take these numbers and then you find a parts kit that has the proper parts in it. This one here, I didn't purchase this. I'm gonna assume it's the right one, but not really sure where it came from. If I had to make a guess, probably came from Amazon, but I don't know that for a fact. I don't really care what carburetor this is, what model it is. All I care about is whether this kit is the proper kit to replace the gaskets in this one here. But I'm sure it is. They're all real similar. Nico's barking over there, the bodyguard. But start out just giving us a general look. This carburetor came off a truck that's been sitting idle for at least 1 decade, and a friend of mine purchased the truck and he's restoring it. He's got it running. The carburetor didn't run in idle, but I guess it wasn't performing well as he's trying to drive it. So I'm going to take it apart and try to clean it, replace some gaskets, and see what I can see if there's anything I can find physically wrong with it, and put it back together, and hopefully it'll work. All bets are off. First thing I want to do is look at this linkage here. Just if there's a lot of loose play, and there's not. It looks fine. It looks like this carburetor has seen not a lot of usage. It's been sitting, like I said, it's been sitting for at least 10 years. Came off I believe an 80s version of a F-150 Ford. That's why it says Motorcraft there. It's a Ford. So Holley made it for that particular truck. 460 V-8. The big industrial engine. It was their flagship for many, many years. Lots of their trucks and stuff used that 460. It was a fantastic engine. These Holley 4-barrels are fantastic carburetors. They just need some love and care every once in a while. But everything looks like it's together and it's there. It doesn't look like it's been molested in any way. It doesn't look like it's been apart, because all the screws are in perfect condition. You can't take one apart without kind of messing up a screw here or there. And I don't see anything messed up on it. That's electric choke there. Okay, well, we'll get started on this thing and see how it goes. All bets are off at this point, but I want to kind of video this just for grins. And here's the stuff I'm going to be using. Be using a rag, of course. The kit. The rebuild kit's got all the gaskets and O-rings and stuff in there. I use my cell phone pen and pencil. Cell phone is for taking pictures. If I can't figure out what I'm trying to do here, so I can take a picture of it and view the picture. This is a can of gum carburetor cleaner. There's a little basket there you put in there. This is just to set the carburetor inside there to keep everything from making a mess. I got some carburetor cleaner. I got some WD-40. This is air mask cleaner, which is the same as carburetor cleaner. I've got some tools here, some basic tools, just this chisel, some needle nose pliers, several different types of screwdrivers, different Phillips flatheads, different sizes. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to get into exactly, but I'm relatively sure, other than there's a couple screws in there that require a special fitting to open them up, but sometimes you can get around that. But okay, well, I'm gonna get started on this. Hello, brothers and sisters. I'm going to start disassembling this carburetor. Trying to get this camera set up so you can get the best view. It's kind of difficult to do when you're trying to do it all yourself. But we'll see what we can come up with here, okay? Last time I worked on a Holly 4-barrel, I had this is back in the 90s, I had a 65 Lincoln Continental 4-door with suicide doors. And that car was a tank. It had a gas gauge on it and a speedometer, and they were always in a race. You could go get empty first. You press on the gas pedal on that thing, and you could literally watch the gas gauge go down. It was hard on fuel. I never did figure out what kind of gas mileage it got, but it wasn't good. These screws were just barely tight. They wasn't tight at all. Pull them out. Let's see what we got here. Should be some little gaskets on there. Yeah, there it is right there. This one, can't really tell. It's just got the gasket still on there. Yeah, looks like they're all got the gasket still on the screws. Yeah, see that one there? You replace all those gaskets. It should be in this kit right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and set these screws over here. Okay, now this should come apart here. I don't believe there's any other screws holding it. This assembly here isn't attached to it. It should just pop off there. Let me hit it with my hammer. Get the brake loose. Nothing yet. There we go. There we go. Yes. This has got this rod right here. It lets gasoline go from one side to the other. You kind of watch that rod. On each end of this rod, there should be a little O-ring here and an O-ring here. So there should be replacements in this kit here as well. I haven't looked into it yet, but will in a minute. Get this piece off. Anyway, that 65 65 Lincoln I had that was a project car. That was the worst car I think I've ever owned as far as maintenance. It had the whole thing was operated off of hydraulics. It had a special hydraulic pump, just like you'd have a water pump. It had a hydraulic pump, and it caused fits for me. I had trouble with it. Even the wiper blades were hydraulic, so it would run off that pump. Unlike modern day cars that used electric, just used hydraulic. But back in the 90s, well, in the early 90s, didn't really have the internet like we got now. Okay, now see that O-ring right there? And there's another O-ring on this other one. Get it out of there. Okay, the O-ring stayed inside there, so I'm gonna have to fish that O-ring out before I forget about it. Give me a little screwdriver here so I can fish it out. There it is. Okay, and I'm gonna put it back onto this just so I remember to replace it. Okay, now here's what we got. We got the float. Let me turn it over. This is the float. Needle and seat. Comes up through here, the needle and seat. There's a spring, and that float should, well, doesn't act like it's doing what it's supposed to do here. It's like it's hung up. That's not right. Not sure what's going on with that. It could be one reason why it's not running right. This needle right here is probably stuck. It's probably got gasoline, dried up gasoline in there. It turns into almost like varnish. Okay, well, so we found one problem, but look how clean that is inside there. Looks like it's fairly clean. I mean, there's not a lot of gunk. Let me see if I can take this screw out right here on the top. Screwdriver. There we go. Oh, that thing's just barely in there. Got a little gasket on there is going to be replaced. I guess this is how you actually adjust the float level. There's another little gasket there. You turn it. Not sure why that's not moving. Let's see here. Just like it's stuck down. Okay. Okay, brothers and sisters, I added another couple, this 5/8 inch wrench here. That's to put this up in here, and so I can turn this float. See, now it's moving up and down. It was stuck in down position. It's not supposed to be down like that. It's supposed to move in that same manner. And so how this works, let me take this screw out of here so you can kind of see maybe. There's a couple washers. This screw right here, this nut, it's kind of weird shaped. Can you see it on there? It's got a flat spot in there. Well, then that flat spot fits in that groove right there. Well, that allows you to adjust your float. Kind of set it on like that, and you put this other screw to help it from just falling off. Of course, there's a gasket goes on there that won't be put back on until we get this taken care of, because I think in the kit we'll have a new needle and seat. Needle seat, I'll show you where it is here. Is right there. That's the needle and seat. That's what makes the, see how that goes up and down nice and smooth now? Let me turn it some more and you can see how it adjusts. See, it's up like that. Okay, well this, with the proper adjustment, this should be sitting just like that. I'm off just a little bit. See, I turned it that way. Turned it a little bit more. It should be just about perpendicular with the level there. Meaning, distance from here to here and here to here should be the same. Well, actually, and so when the gasoline comes in there, it makes the float go up and down. Well, it shuts, this needle here shuts off the fuel. Once the float goes up, similar to your toilet, how your toilet works, if you understand that. But so that's what this was, stuck all the way down. So I know that this was getting a very rich amount of fuel. The fuel was just dumping in there and it wasn't shutting down because this wasn't operating correctly. So I'm gonna clean this up and see if we have that piece inside this kit. Pretty sure it does, but I'll shut this off for a moment. Thank you. Okay, brothers and sisters, I've got the float assembly right here. Needle and seat, I mean. It goes to the float, goes in there so that it operates the level on the float. This is the old one here that I've taken out. So you can see that they're the same. I have to use some of the pieces, these pieces here, and this to screw here and put it on this one, but we should be in good shape there. Put those in there. I'm going to set these aside just for a second because I'm going to take this assembly apart here. Some kind of vacuum assembly, I'm assuming. I'm not sure if that's accelerator pump. Maybe. I'm not really sure. Let's take this apart here. These screws are just finger tight. I mean, I could take those loose with my teeth. I guess you're not supposed to really tighten these things. You just snug them up and that's it. You're good. No real torque specs that I can find. If there were torque specs on, they'd be in inch-pounds for sure. Okay, let's gently take this apart and see what we got going on here. And hopefully in the kit we have the pieces to replace something in here. And it's just a little chilly out here this morning. Huh? I don't know what the temperature. I think it's probably in the middle 40s or something. Oh yeah, okay. What we got is some kind of diaphragm here. And does it look like it's okay? Looks like it. Doesn't look like it's torn. We'll pull that out of there. Okay. And you got a spring. Okay. Let's see if we got a diaphragm to replace that one with. Yeah, that kind of looks like it right there. Yeah, exactly the same thing. Okay. So that's a replacement for that. I'll set that part up there out of the way. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to kind of clean this up with some carburetor cleaner. I don't see any reason to take the float out of there. I do want to check it in some water and make sure it's not leaking. There's no holes in it. Check for bubbles. I'll do that here in a minute after I clean it. Okay, let me take this somewhere and clean it off a little bit. Thank you. Okay, I submerged it in carburetor cleaner. It's over in that gallon bucket there. I checked the float for leaking for bubbles, and the float's fine. See no problems there. It's relatively cleaned up. I don't like to soak them too long because these floats they're not made of metal. They're made of some kind of material that I'm assuming that the carburetor clean might do some damage on a long period of time. But I'm going to put this back together again here. We're going to put the spring in first. Then we got this little thing here which goes down like that. Or does it go like that? No, it goes like the spring goes just like that. And then this goes in here like this. And don't know if I'm in the camera or not. I think so. Okay. Just a screwdriver and try to get one of these kind of started. There we go. Okay. Kind of gotta make sure you get down through the holes and you don't get into that rubber seal. Just gently twist it and hold your tongue the right direction and you'll get it, no problem. Okay. I know these guys are professional carburetor rebuilders. Are thinking I'm an idiot. I know I am. But I do what I can. If it works, the end result's there. If it don't work, well then you have to go take it to somebody who knows what they're doing. Okay, snug those down. Crisscross pattern. That's good. Let's see if I got something going on right or wrong here. Yeah, it looks like it goes that way there. Okay, now what I got to do is put the needle and seat back in there and adjust the float. Wipe some of this crud off of it. Okay, this is your needle and seat right here. This is the old one. This is the new one in the kit. Open the kit up. A whole bunch of washers. Use your teeth. Okay. There's all the components right there. We got the needle and seat, and we got some O-rings and some gaskets. Let's see what we got on this old one. We got one base gasket, which is that one right there. Then we got another gasket that's on this screw right there. Other than that, that's it. Then this thing here comes off like this. It goes onto this one, like so. Okay, so we put this gasket, replace this gasket. This gasket here, which goes there, be replaced by this gasket right here. Okay, so we'll set that gasket aside. Then this goes down in here like so, and you kind of turn it a few turns in. Then you got this screw right here, nut right here, this funny shaped nut that goes on to that like so, so you can adjust it. And then you got this gasket on this screw head right here, which would be this one right here. Okay, so apparently this is a spare gasket. We'll set that back over there. We'll take this gasket off, and we'll set with the old gaskets and put this new gasket on, like so, and then we'll lightly set this in there. Okay, and this thing here came out of there. I'm not sure exactly where it goes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, now we got to separate this part from the housing. You just because these screws are been, it's what holds it in there. There's nothing else hold it together. You just gently pull it back, release the gasket, and this is what you got. Okay, let's see what we got going on in here. Got a serious gasket there. Got a main jet. I can see right through there. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's supposed to be a hole through there, and it's restricted slightly. I can see it, but it's a little bit of restriction there. I have to clean that up real good. Okay, I'll take this gasket off. Not seeing any O-rings here. Looks like there should be an O-ring there. Maybe not. So get this gasket off here. Okay, while I'm finding this gasket, I'm going to shut the camera down. Okay, brothers and sisters, been working on this right here. Got it all cleaned up and put it in the cleaner, let it soak. I replaced this piece right here. Replaced it in the gasket, and then this little rod right here goes in here. I'll place the two little O-rings on there. Here's the O-ring that they're just crumbled. They're so hard and they're tired. They're dry. This goes back into here like this. I've cleaned all these passageways and sprayed cleaner through to make sure they're clean and nothing restricting the flow. Goes back into like that. I'm having a little bit of a hard time because it's a new gasket to seal, but I'll get it back in there. So now I'm going to put this back into place with the new gasket here, and then this gasket here, and then put the screws back in. So I'm pretty much done with this side over here, I believe. This seems to be working properly. This goes into here like that. I'd have to put a little bit of lubricant on to get to go in there, but I don't know. Okay, so there's a little hole right there. Now it's clear. I can see through it. Before I was having a hard time seeing through it, but now I can see it right through it. That's good. I've sprayed some carburetor cleaner through it to make sure it was clear. Okay, thank you. Okay, brothers and sisters, I put all the these gaskets back onto these screws. I put the gaskets back into place there. Here's the old gaskets. Now, what I gotta do is start these screws and get them started. And gently put these back into place. There's something, well, this rod here, it's going to have to go back in there, but I don't have to do it on this side. I can do it on the other side. But get these screws started. Make sure it's not binding up. Lightly turn them. Looks like everything's going okay. Blew out all the compartments in here, cleaned them, make sure everything is clean and proper. Adjusted the choke, or not the choke, the float. You can readjust the float right here after it's even together. And then over on this side, there's a screw that you can take out. As you can see, it's right here. When it's on the carburetor, it's on the engine, you can take this screw out and you can take a look at the float level, and you can adjust it when it's on the car, which makes it nice. You're going to take it apart. Lightly turn these. I'll make sure they're not in a bind and not damaging something. I can see it's going together there. Just, it's not real high-tech stuff. You just have to be careful what you're doing. And remember not to forget something. Remember not to remember. Okay. Look at this, make sure everything looks like it's going on straight. It looks like everything's going on straight. I see no problems. Okay. Continue to torque those screws down. That one. Kind of a cross pattern. I'd say it's right there. Snug without being over tight. One more time. A little tweak, a little tweak, a little tweak, a little tweak. Okay, I think that side's done. Wow. Let's make sure I got this in the right, yeah, that's in the right position there. Okay. Make sure that these screws have been tightened down. I'm pretty sure I torqued those down, but I'll recheck them. Snug, 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 snug. Okay, we're good. All right. This side is done. Still got to do the other side. Side over here, similar, only different. Again, here's your adjustment for your float, and then there's your screw you take out and see how the float level is. Okay, I guess I'll get started on this side. I don't know how deep I'm going to have to get into this carb. Alright, let's get started on this. Okay, I took the screws, the 4 screws, these screws here out. This popped off, and look at this float here. This float is moving back and forth like it's supposed to. And so, let's see how well it's adjusted. think it's not adjusted correctly, but should be up more like that. But we'll take care of that. And we got a little different setup here. You can see that or not. That's where it takes some kind of special screws. Maybe I'll use just a regular screwdriver, the right size. No. Okay. I'll have to see if Phillips will do it. Phillips will do it. Just be careful with it. These are so loose. Man, those are loose. Okay, take these screws out. Three, four, five, 6 screws. Take the 6 screws and set them up here. Okay, now this should pop off here with a little bit of prying. This is neat right here. I think she may have put it right in there and gently pry it off. And so far, not happening. Seems to be stubborn. I'm missing a screw somewhere. Doesn't appear to be. What does that say? It says, if you can read this, you're an idiot. Oh, okay. Yeah. This one looks like it's in a lot better condition than the other one. If you remember, this float was just stuck. It wasn't moving at all. This one's moving. So this one was doing okay, but this is the primary side. So the primary side was all right. Secondary side, oh wait, let me think about this a minute. No, this is the secondary side. The primary side was the problem. This is the secondary side. Yeah, let's see how this comes off here. If I'm missing something, it looks like it just pries off there. Let me tap it a few times. Probably just stuck on there from age. Man, I don't know. I'm getting a little bit afraid here. I'm gonna break it. There it goes. There it goes. Okay. Gently take it off. Okay. A big old gasket. And get underneath it to take it loose. There it comes. Gently. Alright. Just like that. Well, okay. It's interesting. Lots of passageways. I have to get in there and make sure all those passageways are clean and fresh air is going through there. Alright, well, I'm going to get after that, and thank you for watching. Okay, brothers and sisters, I've got this was soaking in the carburetor cleaner, the floats. I've got to replace the needle and seat here, right there. That's this kit right here, and then put this tube back in there and replace the O-rings on it, this one and this one, and then put this tube back in there. Let's see, where does it go? Well, yeah, this is getting closer to being completed. Oh, we're on this side over here is why we got the problem. The tube goes from here to here, so I had to put that in there before I tighten that up. Okay, and I replaced the little washers on these screws. But work on this right here, replacing the needle and seat and adjusting the float. This float right here, which right now it's not quite right, but at least it's moving. The other one wasn't moving at all, it was stuck. And so what that was doing is just, I don't remember which way it was stuck. It could have been either dumping the fuel into it and over fueling it, or it wasn't getting any fuel at all. I'm not really sure. I don't remember which way it was, but it wasn't right. Whatever way it wasn't right. Okay. Let me work on this here. Taking, got the head 5/8 inch wrench and screwdriver. Take this screw out of here first. I don't know if I'm in the camera here or not. It's kind of difficult when you're trying to do it yourself. Okay, take this screw out. There's a washer there. No gasket washer I had to replace. Take and unscrew this. Use this 5/8 inch wrench. It's right on there. Keep unscrewing it until it totally comes out. Already out. There's another washer right there. Okay, so there's the kit, the needle and seat. This is what needle and seats it makes it take fuel on and shut the fuel off. Here's the new one. It's sealed. It's got gaskets in there. I think it's got one too many gaskets for some reason, because these kits are made for a whole bunch of different models. And there's slight differences in them, even though they're the same, slight difference. Okay, get that out of there. Alright, I got 3 washers here. Here's the needle and the seat. See, that one pushes in real easily. That other one didn't. So what we do, we screw it into here, hand tight. Okay, and we put this first washer on, which would be that one right there. Second washer goes on the screw. Let's take this one off. It's not a washer, it's a seal or a gasket. Get it off there. Come on now, don't fight me. let that over there, and then we put the new gasket on there and put this one back over here where we can reuse it. Put it back in the kit. Put this screw back on this nut, and then put the screw back in it. Get it started. Okay. Now we got it started. Now we're going to adjust the float. Remember, we want the float to be about right there. Okay, so we turn the screw, we turn it in. As you can see, it's going up. I gotta back this locking nut off a little bit. Okay, turn it. That's pretty daggone close. I'd say about right there. Equal distance between here and here and here. Pretty close. So it actually goes in this position like this. Well, then when the fuel comes in, this float, the gasoline makes this float, and then it gets to a certain point, it gets into this needle and seat, and it turns the gasoline off. And so the flow of fuel stops. And that's what the height of the float does. And then this screw right here, you can take this screw out, and you can actually adjust it while it's on the car. You can see it, see the level. So you know where it's supposed to be. I imagine it's going to end up something like right there. Okay, so that's in and adjusted. I need to tighten this set screw down so it locks it in place. Okay, I know where this other washer seal came in. Now it goes into this right here, so when you take that off, you have a gasket for it. I'm not going to remove that. There's really no reason to remove it. It's just a plug, a screw, so you can see in there. Okay, now I got to put the new O-rings on this tube right here. So this tube goes, if you can see that or not, so it goes between this one and this one, like that. Okay, so it allows fuel to flow through it. Okay, now that little O-ring actually stayed in this spot right here. I don't want that in there. I gotta get that out of there. Don't want two of them, or did it fall down? Can't see if there's one in there. I want to look at that. No, there's nothing in there. Okay, it must have fell someplace else. Is there one in here? Nope. I've got one on this rod right there. I'll take this one off so I can get an idea of the right size of the O-ring, which are right here. Okay, what do we got? Wrong kind. Okay, there it is right there. There's one of them. The other one right there. Okay. Looks to look good. Okay, I'm gonna stick this one in here. Get it started. Okay, that's into place. Now I've got to replace all four of these little washers on these screw heads here. Make sure they're not stuck into this. Yeah, there's one, two of them stuck, three of them stuck into this. Gotta take them out. Yeah, there's one. There's two. There's three. We'll set these over with the used parts. Not to get mixed with the new stuff, I guess. Okay. Now, put the new washers on. Here's one. There's one. There's two. There's two. There's three. Three. And this one's, can't tell there's a washer on that. I don't think so. Hard to tell. Vision just not a lot as good as it used to be. Yeah, there was a washer. See? Okay. Take that one off. Put a new one on. That one right there. Okay, now these have all been tightened. That's been cleaned behind there. There's a new gasket. We'll set this up here. We got the float level set. I think, okay. We've set this so that this rod is started in the hole there, okay. Now, we start these screws. Not quite started. Okay, that one started. Get them all started before I tighten them up. That one started. There's going to be a little bit of restriction on this rod here, so until it gets seated. It looks like it's all lined up, ready to go. All those things looking good. Take the screwdriver now. Okay, starting to go. That's good. Sorry, we're hitting the camera. Move this back just a hair. Okay. Stop one. Torque on that one, not much. Pinch on that one. Pinch on that one. And a pinch on that one. And it looks like everything's in place. It looks nice and snug. Quick check here. Tight, 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 and tight. Okay. So that's completed. I think that's going to be all I'm going to do. Other than clean the outside of this and just kind of look it over. Otherwise, I think it's all together and ready to be put on the vehicle and clean the outside of it. All right, I'm gonna put it in this right here and start shooting it down with some carb cleaner. All right, thank you for watching. Hello, brothers. I got the carburetor job done. You can see that I've got a few extra parts. They're not extra parts. These are leftover parts that I replaced. There's a whole bunch of parts still back in this box here that I didn't use because I believe when they make the repair kits, they just throw a whole bunch of different ones in there, so they only have one repair kit to fit multiple different carburetors. And as far as I know from these carburetors, there's just millions of them, different models made, same carburetors, just minor differences. Okay, well, I'd just like to say, you know, this is going on a 460 Ford engine. I did have a 460 Ford engine one time in a motorhome. I did have some fuel delivery problems with it, but on it had fuel injection. So I didn't have a carburetor, and then didn't have to work on the carburetor, but I had to work on the fuel injection, which I was a little bit concerned about that, but turns out it was easier than the carburetor. But it's just a matter of taking the for lack of any other words, the jets out, cleaning 8 different jets, putting new O-rings back on them, and reinstall them, and they were great. They were done. If you can't clean them, well, then you have to replace them. But I didn't have to replace any of them. I just had to clean them. It was just dirty. All right. Thank you for watching.